Hey engineers, this is Mr. Hernandez and I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of your new lesson here just to get you guys started and keep you on the right track. So let's start in TinkerCAD. So to get to this lesson for this week, you're going to go to Learn over here in the top right corner, and we need to switch from 3D modeling over to Circuits, which is what we're on right now, and then we go over to Lessons. And the lesson for this week is introducing the breadboard. Because last week we did Ohm's Law, where we just had a circuit connected directly to a battery. This week we're using a breadboard. We're connecting more than one thing at a time. And I want to show you guys this because on a breadboard we get a lot of tools to organize things, but we also have to do a little bit more work to actually use this properly. So this assignment is all about using the breadboard, which is already here, using an RGB LED, and we're also introducing buttons. So lots of things here. Let's go ahead and start on section 1. So let's take a look at this first step. So we need to first connect the breadboard power rails. So the breadboard power rails are the plus and minus on both sides here. And you can see when you hover over them, you can see they're connected all the way up and down. So that means that when we connect positive to here, the entire column is connected. And that's important because we are going to hook up a battery to this right now. So we can find the 9-volt battery over here and drag it out. Now you might notice we have a little bit of a problem here. It's not facing the right direction. Well, we can fix that by going up here to this button, which will allow us to rotate it. So you do have to click it a few times to get it to line up, but now we've got this here. So you see the battery has 2 cables coming out of it, positive and negative. We're going to connect positive to positive, just like that, and negative to negative, just like that. And I prefer to color code these, so I'm going to keep my negatives black, and I'm going to keep the positives red. Alright, now let's move up and go on to the next step. Alright, so now we need to add the RGB LED and the resistor. So let's go ahead and read the directions, and let's look a little bit more closely at the breadboard here, because this needs to go in a specific place. So we've got the power rails on the outsides here, and on the insides we have these rows, and the rows are not connected up and down, they're connected right to left with kind of a gap in the middle. They're going to call a ravine here. So we can see this is row 1, and row 1 is connected left to right, and in row 1 A, B, C, D, and E are connected to each other. Then there's a gap, and then we still have row 1, but now we have F, G, H, I, J. So that means that these are electrically connected, and electricity will flow through all of these together. So if you want to attach 2 things to each other, they just have to be in the same row. Alright, now that all that's taken care of, let's see what we need to do with our LED. Alright, so we need to look for an RGB LED, and you can either scroll down here and find it, or you can search right here. Alright, either way, we're getting this guy. We're going to drag him out. And because these rows are connected across this way, we can't just put our LED down like this, because this is going to connect all of the legs of the LED together, and we don't want them to be connected together. Then it's just going to be connected to itself. So we're going to rotate this 90 degrees like this, and let's see where we need to put it. So the top pin needs to be an E13. So we need to look for row 13 and pin E. So that's right there. I'm going to put the top right leg of the LED in that space. So let's drag that here, and there it is. But we're not done yet. We also need to add a resistor, because from last week you should remember that if we don't add a resistor to a circuit, or if our resistor has the wrong value, our LED could be damaged or even break. And when we look at the LED, we can see that each of its legs does something different. The top one is red. This one is a cathode, so that's what connects to ground for the LED. And then we have blue and green. So we're going to connect our 480 ohm resistor. So let's make sure this resistor is 480 ohms. And pay attention to this last part. Right now it's kilo ohms, which means 1,000 ohms. So I'm going to bring that down to just regular ohms. Alright, now this LED or this resistor is going to connect to the cathode in row 14, which is right there. I'm going to put it all the way to the side, actually right here. So it goes from row 14 down to row 18, and this needs to connect to ground. So from row 18, connect directly to ground right here. Remember, everything connected to ground I'm going to keep as black cables. And you want to keep your cable runs really short, because even though this is the same as this is really messy. This is taking up a lot of room on the board. So keep the cables nice and short and direct like that. So that's pretty good so far. We've got our LED connected to ground, and now we're going to attach buttons. So this is the push button right here. You can also search for it, but it's on the top here, so we're just going to grab it right off. And you see on this button, it has these little legs sticking out on it. Well, the way that this is hooked up, the legs coming straight out are connected like this. There's essentially a wire going across the center here. Then there's a gap in the middle, and then there's another wire going across the bottom here, or the right side here. And when you press a button, this side, the left side, is electrically connected to the bottom. So right now, there's no connection. You press the button, there is a connection. So to use this, we're going to rotate this by 90 degrees, just like that. So now we have a top and a bottom, and they're disconnected. And I'm going to put these on E1, and you see it goes from E1 down to E3, and it also crosses over here. So right now, this row connected straight across to this row, and this row is connected straight across to this row through the button. And if I press the button, I'm connecting row 1, don't need to attach wire there, connecting row 1 to row 3. So there's a gap right here. When I press the button, they're connected. You'll see that in action in just a moment. Alright, so this switch is going to be the one that we use to connect red. So we're going to supply power to this first with another short cable going from positive to row 1. And keep that one red. And then this one is going to go down to row 13, which is the red LED. So from here down to row 13, color code that cable red because it's controlled in red, and there we go. So now let's start the simulation, and nothing happens. But if I press the button, the LED lights up red. Alright, now you guys are going to do this 2 more times by copy and pasting the switch down below. Alright, and there you have it. There's your complete circuit. So keep this on your page and use this to answer the questions in the document attached to this assignment. I hope you guys did well on this. So just email me if you guys have any questions or if you need help along the way. Good luck.